Mr. Incredible.
What's going on, man?
What's good, Money? How you been? How you been?
Been doing all right. A busy day, about to get busier. Yeah, man. Season 4, episode 6, Money and Valley.
Yes, sir. We got something a little different to talk about today. But trust me, it all comes together.
Oh, yeah, man. They're about to see. Yeah, man. We're about to talk about this, like real estate and virtual real estate.
Yeah, we're here to talk about virtual real estate. Get it?
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's all in the words, especially if they see the title
Yeah.
that you emphasize. That you emphasize. You see that flash in the middle. Guess who came up with that?
Yeah, we're here to talk about some real estate.
Oh yeah, and then how everything literally comes together, like Belly just said too. Because y'all probably thinking about like, oh yeah, they've been talking about stocks and then cryptos all this time. So what does real estate have to do? You know what we're doing now.
Exactly. So here we're basically going to talk about how does all this correlate? Because like Money said, what does stocks and cryptos have to do with owning some property? Well, they go together pretty well, so we're going to kind of dive into the details a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. It's kind of a long haul for this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I'm gonna go on my side about the virtual real estate. You know, some of y'all never heard of, but I'm pretty sure y'all heard of the metaverse. And then I'm pretty sure y'all heard of rates, just like from the last episode. But I'm gonna go ahead and dive on into like virtual real estate, so all this can make sense. So, what virtual real estate? Well, think about the metaverse. So I'm gonna go. So I think I'm gonna just go over what the metaverse is. So the metaverse is a virtual world where people can interact. So it makes sense that there's going to be virtual property in a virtual world. And then not only that, every time y'all see like metaverses or hear about it, then you hear about it with some crypto stuff or with some NFT stuff. So they have cryptos and NFTs in there. Like when people participate, they earn cryptos. And when people own some property, those properties are going to be in NFT form. So you can make payments and get paid either way. So that's what it is. And I'm gonna give like a whole bunch of examples of how all this works. So I'm gonna start off with these big platforms that are, already in the metaverse already. So there's this game called Decentraland. So what Decentraland, just like I said, you they had a lot of virtual property for pre-sale, and then you buy the property, like you build it in there, like on One Blue Land did. They built their own comic book shop in there, and then they don't even have a physical shop. They just made their comic shop like all virtual, but you can still order their comics. It's something like that. And then when you own some property, you get paid in what's called Decentraland mana. Now it's funny how, it's big too, because that's what people was thinking of when Facebook changed their name to Meta. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Not too long ago.
and and then the coin went up, so that's how that's a big platform in there. And then celebrities like dived into there too, starting their events. Like Snoop Dogg, he had a lounge in there. Well, no, not a lounge. He had a lounge in the Sandbox, but I'm gonna bring the Sandbox up later on. Paris Hilton had an EDM concert in there, so she used some of that property for the EDM concert, and she probably collected a whole bunch of Decentraland mana for people that went in there. No, and then it's not on. It's an in-game currency, but it's also, you can also buy it like on Coinbase or any other exchange that sells the mana tokens. So the money in the game is real money, and then they had, and then the property, of course, is virtual, but people own those properties in there. So so that's what Decentraland right there, and there's another one called. Well, let me see. I'm gonna go over some more partnerships with Decentraland because I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Atari. Atari's been out since what 1972 or something like that.
Some of that, at least the 80s, we'll say.
Yeah, yeah, popular in the 80s. Yeah, so Atari is coming back, into virtual reality. So that virtual reality is going to be their comeback. They got an Atari token, by the way, so they got their own crypto. They got their own stock too. But what's crazy is they dived into the metaverse too, and they making a casino in Decentraland, the game I just talked about. So that's their property in there, is a casino, a virtual Atari casino, where they're going to have these Atari type games where you can like earn money, cryptos and stuff like that. So how. So that tells you that certain companies are going to be innovating in there too. And then what is crazy is they built it. That's how you know it's real estate because they built it in a district called the Vegas City District, which is one of the biggest districts in Decentraland. So so like that screams out like a whole bunch of big companies is just older property in there. So that's Decentraland, and then there's another one too that gets mentioned often with it too called the Sandbox. Now this yeah they had a lot of land for pre-sale, and then I remember looking at this YouTube video, and then I had screenshotted it too because there was a lot of big companies like buying the land in there. Like there was MakerDAO for people who know what MakerDAO is, because MakerDAO makes it possible to use Ethereum to take out loans and stuff, and then those loans, when you store your Ethereum, is going to be in the dates, and then they got the Maker coin as the governance token right there, and then that's actually worth a lot. So MakerDAO is the network that like I screenshot it, or in that video. If I did, no, I screenshot a Ripple, but in the video I saw, yeah, MakerDAO was in there. Ripple was also in there too. So Ripple is a huge um, blockchain software, blockchain payment software type of company, and they invented XRP. And XRP is going to be used by a lot of big banks and big institutions. And then right now they're currently going through a lawsuit, but I saw that Ripple logo in there, like more than one buying some virtual land, and I gotta give the link of that guy in the video. Yeah, so that right there is another example of big networks or big companies going into virtual real estate. And yeah, Sandbox has their own coin too, and that's again where people can make their own games, own property. And guess who else is it?
Who else?
Atari, of course. Atari that bought some property in the Sandbox too. So they're probably coming out with their, I think they're coming out with their arcade too. But yeah, I seen this big, Atari symbol, like buying like this big Atari symbol, and then they bought a whole bunch of land in there. So they trying to earn some sand too.
And trying to get back on that grind, man. They're trying to get back to the top.
Yeah, because sand also went up along with the Central Land when Facebook made that announcement that they was going to change their name to Meta. So that's how you know that's a big platform too. And if you want to get into virtual real estate, now like the first two big platforms I just mentioned are actually big platforms because like like how I described it and who was actually diving into it, buying this property, buying the lands and setting up their own shop. So so there you go, and then you see the connection too, because they both got Atari in there also. So yeah, the Central Land, and then you got the Sandbox, and then let me see. I'm gonna mention another. Let me see another platform because I did mention like how you can buy land in these video games, but now I'm gonna mention something called Ethereum Towers, where you're actually buying apartments for real, like luxury places. So that's what Ethereum Towers is. It's they have them in the form of NFTs, of course. So they having their own coin launch, so if you are a participant in any way, like whether you paying a rent, like you or you started an event or something, you're gonna get awarded those coins. But it's crazy how the price is ridiculous though at what they sell in these places. Because when I first looked at it, they sold one place for like over 13,000.
Ooh,
You would think they was paying for a real apartment, and then I look up another post. They sold a penthouse for $100,000. They
that's too
did that
much.
like yeah, they did that late last for some virtual property. They buy it like it's a physical real estate.
That's too crazy.
Yeah, that is. And then and then yeah, it is crazy. So I was mind blown off that. And then how you get your rent, you can stake these apartments too. Because if y'all remember when I went over staking, it's like earning interest off of crypto. So since these apartments are NFTs, like you can stake them, and then you can just automatically make money staking them there, just earn the interest off these apartments. But also, based on how many people come in too, you can still get paid also. So if your place is very popular, you're just gonna be making money. But yeah, and then I'm gonna go back to the video games because there's this mobile game called Meta Guardians. So they posted a lot. They keep posting like different characters because their characters are superheroes and their superheroes are crypto based also. So like every superhero they make, they put a they put like a crypto symbol in the middle of their chest, or it just has to be on them or on their weapon. Somebody gonna have a Bitcoin, somebody gonna have an XRP, somebody gonna have an Avalanche or something like that. The superhero is gonna be based off that or just have that symbol. So those superheroes are in the form of NFTs also, and then you can stake the superheroes. But what's crazy is they they also partnering with Ethereum Towers too, so they probably gonna have their superhero headquarters in there or something like that. But they said, yeah, prepare to see some super villains walk around Ethereum Towers. So I guess you buy your luxury apartment, you know, just don't buy it in a dangerous area. Yeah, you might like that. That might be some crime down there with these super villains. But like, oh no, no, that's the bad part. You want to go east. Yeah, yeah. So now you see that there's a lot of stuff going on in this crypto game. So I'm just telling you how like crypto relates to real estate because of this. Real estate's not only becoming virtual, they're becoming NFTs. So because NFTs can be anything, which makes it possible to make money. And then I'm not even finished with Ethereum Towers yet because they got something else going on. Like this streaming company called Audius. They got their own crypto too. So they got what's called an audio coin. That the audio token is made from Ethereum too. It's ERC20 coin. And then that's what they're gonna pay the participants, pay the people who's like in the top 5 on the list. So I'm gonna go over Audius real quick though. So Audius is basically like the crypto version of Spotify, and with less rules at that, because it has a lot to do with decentralization. So that's what Audius is. So you like it's a good platform for a lot of up and coming artists because Audius is pretty new. They don't got as much as Spotify, but I'm pretty sure they're on the rise. So with Audius, they also went into Ethereum Towers also, and then Ethereum Towers made that announcement on Twitter. It's like, yeah, we're partnering with Audius. So on one of our floors in the towers, they're gonna bring some like up and coming artists and DJs like in that property that like have the hottest nightclub basically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. So a lot of things go on, not just in the Ethereum Towers, but like in virtual real estate. That's why like the metaverse. No, that's what making the metaverse what it is right now. Like why people are going into it. You know, making money there without even buying physical real estate. So I'm talking about like virtual real estate in the form of buildings and stuff. Like I just talked about apartments, but like there's a metaverse where like the whole world is virtualized, and like and you can buy streets or the buildings in there too. It's like the Google Map. No, it's like the crypto version of Google Maps. Except like you're not well, you earn crypto by selling the property, so yeah, and you pay for it in crypto also. So yeah, it's basically like the metaverse, crypto version of Google Maps. It's called Super World. So Super World is what I just explained, and they got their own app, and then you can see what places are like you can own a virtual version of the Eiffel Tower or locations around it, and you got to pay for it in Ethereum, and then that value go up. And then if you want to sell it, you know, like put the offer there, like you have to pay me this much Ethereum for this property. Like I seen the Great Wall of China for sale. I seen Mount Rushmore, the Eiffel Tower, all on Super World. Just yeah, and then it makes it possible for you to own the places without actually owning them in real life, but you still own it. So
Just the
that's Super
virtual
World right
version.
there. He said what?
It's just the virtual version. That's all.
Yep, just everything is virtualized. Like I can own my street. I can own my street. I can I can probably own a McDonald's across the street. Probably because like they do have that search bar like what address you want to what place you want to search up or what address. So they trying to like have the whole world virtualized right there. And it's also good for business too. Like if you want to be like for promotional purposes, or you want to innovate with your business too, because I'm gonna give an example. Like Green Zone has been participating in Super World. So Green Zone is what I described like in the last episode when we was going in deep about passive income, where you can recycle and earn crypto without any fees. You just earn their crypto called GZX by recycling. And they take your recycled objects, make the money off that, but put that back, back into the coin so it can go up. And then they plan on going global too. So what they're doing is smart also because the people that they partner with, because they have partnerships with like custodians, and then they have partnerships with like certain bars. So a certain bar that they partner with, then they bought the location of that bar. So they bought that bar inside Super World. So they own that in virtual reality inside the Super World app. So when people use that Super World app, um, they're going to see their NFTs too, because they be putting their NFTs where they own. So when you look up like a certain place, like that bar I was just talking about in Super World, then you're gonna see that green zone logo. You might see that green zone logo, but it's good for promotional purposes too. And then they're doing the same thing, where they have this Doge Palooza party, like they're joining them, and then they're going to be recycling there, and then they also bought the location. So then they started hiring NFT artists. So with this big, end up having this big muscular Doge um, NFT in there, and possibly also Green Zone too. So I notice every time they be doing certain things like that, they be buying the locations, they be leaving their mark, with these well known locations. So that's another way, like another smart way you can dive into virtual real estate. You can just promote your company. That's another good reason to join. So that's my example with Superworld right there. Because Superworld is more, it's more augmented reality based though. But at the same time, it's still virtual real estate. It's still within that field. So that's what's making them stand out from like everything else I just talked about. Because the Decentraland and Sandbox more virtual reality, Super World more augmented reality. Still virtual real estate regardless. So so that's what, like three things, three platforms I just named.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, about 3.
Yeah, about three. And then like what they got in common, what the differences, and still like how can you take advantage of all this, and how big companies are diving in there too that I just explained. So you got the Decentraland, you got Sandbox, you got Super World. No, Ethereum Towers too. So that's four right there.
Oh yeah, 4.
Yeah. That's four. So the first two, no, like more on the video game side. The third one is, I mean, it's kind of like a game too, but no, it's more like on a realistic, like virtual reality side. And then there's another one that's all in the augmented reality field. So yeah, and then yeah, that's pretty much it right there, for, like explaining virtual real estate, and how you can make money, and take advantage of it. Use what you can to promote your business, or you just, yeah, simply, do what you can do in the physical world.
A lot of
So
information
yeah,
to digest.
yeah, a lot of information to digest. A lot of ways to make it simple. But this is an example of how you can still be involved in cryptos, but how you can um do something else, like especially real estate that we're talking about, how you can still dive into real estate while you're still in the cryptos, basically. And now about to explain how you're about to do that with stocks.
And before I hop on the stocks, I just want to add something on money side. Again, how it relates. When it comes to these virtual real estate or even platforms, another way it relates or even correlates is how do you buy them? Well, you can use your money, but a lot of these platforms are moving towards, if you want to purchase this property, you have to use certain cryptos. An example would be Ethereum Towers. Well, what does Ethereum Towers have? Who makes Ethereum Towers? Ethereum. What does Ethereum have? The actual crypto coin Ethereum. So you probably will have to purchase these properties, or I guess with Ethereum Towers, rooms or apartments with Ethereum currency. Same thing for the other virtual platforms. You'll probably have to use cryptocurrency to purchase a lot of these properties, and they'll probably have some system in place where you can exchange, your actual money for the cryptocurrency to purchase the property. So that would be one way it relates. The second one would be, if I have stocks and you want to get into real estate, but don't feel like managing real estate, you can do rates, which back in the last episode, rates means real estate investment trust. You just Instead of owning the actual property, you own a share of the company. Well, let's flip over to the virtual side. You have cryptos, which is the virtual version of currency. You have the crypto market, basically the virtual version of the stock market. It's still cryptocurrencies. So the next step would be virtual property. Well, how will I purchase virtual property? Use virtual currency. See, I have actual stocks and companies and real estate, and you can own a piece of a real estate through stocks. You can do the same thing on the flip side with crypto virtual platform. So they might sound slightly different, but they're essentially the same. One's just reality, one you can touch and feel and physical, and one is just virtual. They have their differences, but essentially they're the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like they have the differences, but there's something. That's one thing they got in common though. Like they had the ways for you to jump in it without without worrying about like the complications, the cons of physical real estate. But at the same time, like with stocks, you can jump in it indirectly with the race stocks. Then with cryptos, another world for that. Basically.
Exactly, but still the same thing. Just want to jump into real estate, but this time it's virtual real estate. Well, use your crypto.
Yeah, and then another thing I want to add on to that too is there's also other companies that are going to make crypto, like a crypto version of rates too, and then through this process called tokenization. So if you was there for like the second episode, I actually mentioned that, like how stocks getting tokenized, there's stock that's gonna be turned into cryptos, giving you the option to do that, like Sologenics and Mobius. But then there's this company called Defender. They was called Smartlands, and then their crypto was called like SLT. But now they changed their name to Defender, and then they're going on another chain. But they're working on like tokenizing real estate. Like you can buy like pieces of the land and stuff like that, micro shares without buying the whole property and still make money. Like they're working on doing that in Ukraine, like right now. So I just want to add that in there too.
Yeah, you see how everything kind of comes together. Like we said in the beginning, it would come together. They might sound weird, like how stock and virtual reality, all that come together with real estate. Well, they do. Once you dive into it, you'll see the bigger scheme.
Oh yeah, like I said, this is definitely a guide, for you doing your research. So once you like do your research and see what we talk about, like you just gonna this is just gonna be a whole bunch of you think there's a lot of information coming at you. It's gonna be even more because there's always projects to be worked on around what we're talking about, and there's just always some going on, some new announcement.
That's true.
Like we get to the point we can't keep up with every single thing going on. That's how bad it is.
And the virtual side is even worse because it's a new area. There's no limits. They're constantly coming up with new things.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it's definitely unlimited. Like I get overwhelmed sometimes. Like what?
Look, y'all. He's talking like he gets overwhelmed. He talks to me, I get overwhelmed. Like I still dive into cryptos and stuff. I got stocks. That's my thing. He does cryptos, so he be telling me a huge more information. I think he tells me more information than the rest of y'all. Sometimes I be getting overwhelmed. I'm like, bro, I have no clue what you're talking about, but it's information, so I will definitely take notes. Even though this is not my area. This is why it pays to have a friend in a certain area. Have a friend in every walk of life.
Yeah, and then people do because people do have a different way of thinking too. So that's why it's good that me and him are coming together on these two different things. Because like no matter what topic we talk about, like they always relate.
Yeah, exactly. They always relate. Even though you're going off the deep end with me, I can still somehow piece the information together because it still correlates to stocks and market and all that stuff, because crypto is still a market regardless. As long as you know how to do one market, you'll get basic understanding for all others.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's how I was able to hop from stocks to cryptos. Using a few of the things that I learned from stocks and the lessons I learned from stocks and applying it to what I'm doing now with cryptos. Even though there's still things I had to learn because it's a different field, but at the same time, like the lessons I learned, I could just apply it to what I'm learning now.
Yeah. A good example of me trading options. Technically, I can go right now and trade cryptos. I might not be as adept at it, but it's still a market. It's still a chart. There's still, support and resistance. It might act a little different than other like stocks, how it acts within the exchange market. But it's still a market. I still know how to read a chart. I still know how to trade. I still know how to scalp trade. Support, resistance, supply and demand. I still know how to do all those things. I apply it to the cryptos, the same thing. I can still trade it. That's just not my field. I'd rather do stock. But at the same time, I still don't neglect it. I still, look into cryptos and purchase them, trade them, but like I'm heavily more invested on options. But I'm kind of going off the deep end.
Yeah, because you know, even though they move different too, they don't move at the same rate. When you talk about volatility, there are similar traders, like they got the same trading strategies, the same long term with position trading and earning interest. Even though you do it in different ways, still you earn the interest. And in the short terms where you scalping and swing trading, you can day trade. You can definitely day trade with crypto. That market's over 24/7.
Yeah, it's very volatile. I've traded cryptos. It's that's why what's funny. Even a lot of people that play in the stock market, a lot of them they still do it, but they really like crypto market. Just how volatile the market is. The price swings are massive. That's that's what we meant. You can go back and forth, like full time traders will hop in the crypto market without a second thought and trade just because of how I wouldn't say easy, but just like I said, the massive price swings. You can make a killing off it if you know what you're doing. But this goes back to what I was saying earlier that I know how to trade options, read stocks, all these things. So I can still hop in the crypto market and do the same thing. Just one's a little bit more volatile. One moves slightly different. Still moves. One might move quicker than the other, or the price drop or price increase is just a little more massive than the other. That's all there is.
Yeah, and then same patterns too. Just different volatility. Like you'll see, a triangle. One of them triangles, and then where the pattern just condenses and condenses. Gets smaller to like turn into a squiggle, and then it just breaks through into another all time high, something like that. Like you'll see that in cryptos too. You'll see the uptrends and downtrends, um, double tops, double bottom.
Yeah. And
Like
one
like you.
thing is, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you'll see the same patterns. But what were you saying?
No, I was saying even add on to that slightly. Once you learn how to read a chart and patterns, I think sometimes subconsciously you'll start applying that same thought process to other charts you see that has nothing to do with stock. Absolutely nothing to do with stocks. It can be a chart. I don't know. Who knows? When you go into a job, like maybe the employee's work rate or something like that, they might have a chart of it with the manager. Sometimes you apply how you read a chart from the markets to there. Sometimes it'll work too. So by doing it so much, I can't help but do it subconsciously all the time now. Like you'll still see sometimes resistance here, support. It may not be money wise as far as supply and demand, but there's still a support and resistance here. It won't go down no further than this for some reason, not because of money or for certain reasons within that context. And you'll find out once you start sometimes trying to apply the readings to different types of charts.
Yeah, and then you'll see, retraces too. You'll know what certain word means, and when to say them too. Like when we're using words like all times highs, and then they go, then they have to retrace to find the support. Like once you like learn the basics, you know exactly what we and that's what we covered in the last episode. Like why learning the basics is important, and then to touch on like for me going to stocks from stocks to cryptos, like you can apply the same concepts. Let me see, like was either in the metaverse or was what simply collecting comics. Like knowing when to sell them. What the demand is for them. The right time to sell them. Like that, like that's what I'm doing right now. Like with one of my comics, like yeah, I was because since they're limited, I'm gonna wait to run out because the demand will be higher, something like that, instead of just selling it because it went up like another couple $100, basically.
Hmm. So yeah, once you learn it, you can apply it. But I kind of got off topic right there. But I guess let's I'll hop back into it. So how does my side relate? Well, last episode kind of covered what rates are. So I guess I'll kind of dive back into it. So again, you have stocks, you have real estate. If again, this goes to my real estate managers or owners, and to even people that don't own them. Real estate owners, you know how attentive you have to be when managing these properties. You have to deal with tenants, maintenance, collecting rent, and all other things. I don't know too many of them because I don't own any real estate property, but I know people who do, and hear their qualms about it. So the struggles of that. If you as a person know you don't feel like dealing with any of that hassle, then rates would be a good option because you just own a piece of the company that owns real estate. That's all the rate is. You own a share of a company that owns property, and you're indirectly dealing with real estate. So you don't have to deal with all the hassle of maintenance, tenants. You just purchase your share, and sit back and chill. You just manage that within your portfolio. Whether to buy more or less, hedge it, do what you
Oh yeah, tell them how you get your rent through these rate stocks.
want. Yeah, you'll get your so-called rent through your dividend payouts. Because one of the things with rates is by law, rate companies rate REITs, tomato tomato. I'll use them interchangeably. I don't know why I do it, but
I do the same thing too.
yeah, but exactly. I can't help it. But rate companies, they're required by law, I think, to give out 90% of their profit to their shareholders. So that's a lot. 90% of their profit to their shareholders. That's another reason why the dividend payout is so high. That's why the amount is so high. So that's one way, to earn passive income, like we covered in the last episode. It's through these dividends. Now it does take a long time. Remember, it's a passive investing thing. It takes a certain amount of time to build up, but when you do, you'll receive a large amount of dividend payouts, and that can be one stream of income. It doesn't need to be a few thousand a month. It can be like a couple hundred a month. That's still a great way to earn some income, and it'll help out a little. So that's my takeaway of how it relates to actual stocks. Then, of course, you got your actual real estate. Kind of has nothing to do with stocks, but you wouldn't have rates unless you had the actual real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. And then to jump on that too, I remember I was watching a like YouTube video like when K Reno went down to Dallas one time, and then he was talking about like why knowing people is important too. Like yeah, you still keep a close circle, but then there's like a certain circle that you have to have for like networking too. So he used real estate as an example, like to make it easier for yourself, like knowing knowing electricians, has having some friends that are electricians, some carpenters that you can call on to help you, fix this house and flip it,
Or not even that, just
basically.
basically to flip it. If you know some good contractors, you know they do good work, and they're looking for people to find these jobs for them. You got a contractor right there. That friend that does that job, he needs a job. Well, I need a house to get fixed, or I need maintenance done on the house because destruction on the property because of the tenant, or just normal maintenance. You call them. You call your technician, contractor, electrician, plumber. It doesn't hurt to have a friend in every walk in life. It really does help out. And speaking of that, we can go on the flip side. I'll talk about real estate. Well, being a real estate property owner in a second, but I'm gonna go to something a little bit more easier if you was looking for passive income. To me, I think it might be slightly easier, but it still has pros and cons. Would be wholesale real estate. Now, the difference between these two is like, think of like you're a realtor. Your job is to find houses for people to buy, right? Or basically to sell houses for people to buy. And some of you out there that have that job, you know how difficult that can be. You know, you got to get a license for it. You got to learn all that stuff. Well, there's something called wholesale real estate. And what that is, take me as a normal person. Now, I still got to do contracts and learn a couple things and sign agreements and all that stuff. But a wholesaler is, instead of me selling the house as a realtor, I don't sell the house. I sell the contract to the house. It's basically ownership of the house without actually owning. I just own the contract for it. Sounds a little bit like options, where options trading, I don't necessarily own the stock. I have the right to buy the stock. It's a contract to the stock. Kind of the same thing. I don't own the house. It's just a contract to the house. I own that. And in wholesale, what you do is, say, we'll give an example. Say the contract to the house was $15,000. So instead of you going to find a family or a person that's looking to buy a house, you would find a realtor. No, the realtor, the one that's looking for the actual person that's looking for a family or person to buy the house. You'll go to them and say, "Hey, I got a contract for a house. I'm willing to sell to you." You know, you get into your little haggle of the price. You're like, I'm willing to sell it to you for $20,000. Realtor goes, "No, okay, I'll purchase it." Now, remember, the contract was $15,000. You just upped the sale on the realtor for $20,000. So you keep the difference. I know some of you wonder who has $15,000? Well, there's ways to do it. You could get a loan from the bank. I'm not including interest within this transaction of you keeping the $5,000. I don't know the interest rates as far as taxes and all that stuff. But say you go to the bank for a loan for $15,000. All right, you take the loan out. Then you find a realtor to purchase that contract. Remember, the contract was $15,000. So you went to the bank, got a $15,000 loan. Found the realtor, you sell that contract for $20,000. So now you just received $20,000. Go back to the You go back to the bank, give them their $15,000 plus interest, taxes, and all that, and you keep the difference. That's what a wholesaler does. I don't have to deal with tenants. I wouldn't say you have to do a fixer upper. You don't have to flip houses. You can let the realtor deal with that. Your job is just to sell the contract to the house. That's all you do. Sell the contract and you keep the difference in the money you make. Now, to me, it's a little bit easier, I think, than owning a real estate property. But there's cons to everything. Here's the thing. This goes back to what me and Money was just saying about knowing friends and knowing contractors and plumbers. Well, in order to sell this house, you got to know some realtors or real estate agents that are looking for houses to buy. Because see, here's a little trick. I'm gonna tell you. Your job as the wholesaler, you can think of it as the middleman, because these real estate agents don't want to go around trying to find houses. I mean, they do, that's their job, but it would be nice if they didn't have to go around to find it on foot. They rather let somebody else run around on foot, let somebody be the foot soldier to find these houses for them. So you are that foot soldier. You're that maid man. You're the one getting work done to find the house. You're doing the work for them. Small price to pay. But like I said, this goes back to you have to know people in certain positions. You have to know some realtors around your area or wherever you're planning to start wholesaling. And you have to, this goes to connections. You have to build a relationship with them. And once you do, they'll know you're a reliable person to find these houses for. And you will also know that they're a reliable person to purchase these houses from you. And you'll know their taste. As far as taste, like what kind of houses they're looking for, how far it is and up the code as far as looks, aesthetics, area, location. You'll know what they like as far as building relationship and trust. And any business is there always got to be some form of trust. I know everything's a contract, but this goes back to like think of it as like your credit score. I know a lot of us have low credit scores, even high credit scores. That's like a sign, I guess, kind of a sign of trust to businesses. Because if you have a high credit score, that tells them basically you've paid your bills, you're on time. That's why your credit score is higher. You paid it off early, so they know they'll get their money. As far as you having an extremely low credit score, regardless of like how it came to be that way, you didn't have enough money at the time, or sometimes you're always a couple of days late, or you had some bad things happen in the past. Regardless of how it is, if they see you have a low credit score, they really don't want to do business with you. That's why it's hard to get cars or loans, things like that, because of a low credit score. That's how they see trust. Because you have a low credit score, am I going to get this money from you? If I have an extremely high credit score, they know they're going to get the money from me. It's a sign of trust to them. It's the same thing with the realtors. You have to build up a relation, build up a trust with them. Once you've made these connections and done it once, more than once or twice, but a few times over, you got basically a reliable customer, because realtors, their literal job is to sell houses. You supply them houses, they give you money. And what you do, you build up a small circle of that. I know this sounds like a lot of footwork, which it is, but at least you don't have to deal with the hassle of tenants and maintenance and all these things. So, that's kind of my little side on it.
Yeah, and well said too. So that shows you like you can just be completely indirect. When you go into real estate, like you like dive into rates. If you don't want, like, if you really don't want to do all that, just earn from the company that owns it, or you can somewhat you know do it by just having the contracts, and then just finding property, like finding these houses for the people that's going to flip it, or you could just be one of those people that's going to flip it and make the money. But either way, you can make money from these sides. It's just you don't have to do it one way. Is the point? Like there's like we just named like 3 different ways of doing it.
Yeah, you can do crypto side, stocks. You can be a actual real estate agent, but that requires training. A lot of you are looking for passive income. You can be a property owner, owning tenants, apartments, things like that, landlord essentially. Or you can do wholesale real estate, where you don't need a license, you don't need to be a real estate agent. Kind of going off to the side, another helpful tip, maybe you can what's the word I want to look for? You can do kind of an internship with a realtor to kind of get the understanding of what they do and how they see things, how they view things from their eyes when they're looking for a house. You can do an internship with one of them just voluntarily. Like, you don't have to make any money, because in your eyes, the experience of being with them and them teaching you will gain you money in the future. So you can do volunteer work to just be beside them, help them close deals and stuff, just to get their insight and how they view houses, and see what they're looking for in a house, the pros and cons of it, how they maneuver through each section. That'll be a good way to help. So that's my little, tidbit on that. But yeah, there's different ways. You don't necessarily have to do one simple thing. Like being a wholesale agent actually has almost nothing to do with stocks, but you still deal with real estate property.
Yeah,
So we're just trying to find ways for you to make passive income. Well, not necessarily passive, a little more active, but you get what I'm saying.
And then, then there's pros and cons to each, whether you're talking about like virtual real estate, or you're talking about physical real estate, or getting into real estate through stocks, too, like rates, like we just talked about. Like none of this, don't expect any of this to be easy, because you gotta like put something in, with all these different things we just talked about, like with rates, got to put a lot of money in. And then what wholesale, got to know people, and then with regular real estate, being a realtor, you got to do all the above probably.
Yeah, exactly. The tenants dealing with real estate agents. Oh, and another thing will help out is, again, this is pertaining to wholesale, is when you're doing this, we said earlier about having friends in certain places, you can make connections. And I know I've already said that, but I mean make more connections. Remember that contractor friend you had to build fixes houses, and electricians and plumber? You can make a group of connections with the realtors. So now you have a whole entire group. It almost sounds like a business or LLC. Now you have a group. You have multiple people to depend on. You have the realtor, you have the contractor, you have the electrician, you have the plumber, you have the house designer, or ones that make the house look nice, the furniture and all that stuff. So you can create a group like that. So make connections everywhere you go. You'd be surprised what people know and where they are.
So they'll probably be in Decentraland too. Make some connections in the virtual reality world with some people that's gonna flip the house in the real world.
Yeah, that's true.
If you just want to go back and forth and double dip.
But that's the thing right there. Because virtual is fake, and reality is real.
That's basically real estate. Yeah, that's literally real. But other than that, though, virtual reality is unlimited. And until you want to hop off into a whole new world and own something fictional, well, at least you get paid for it, right?
I mean, it's true. You get paid real estate too,
Yeah, you get paid. Yeah, get paid in real estate too. And then, and then you can own something fictional, like just like what we talked about, like in the fifth galaxy, own this whole space tower. What section 3?
Sector 3.
Sector 3. Oh man.
Now this goes into our next talking point. This is money versus belly part 2.
Yep. Part 2. I'm gonna be on the virtual side, because we're gonna be going over like the cons of each. So I'm gonna be on the virtual side. Fake. He'll be on the physical. But you make some real money off it, though. Oh man, just like I said, it's with virtual, it's unlimited. Big companies, like I named, are already going into it, so the direction that where it's heading to.
And that sounds nice, but like I said earlier, it's fake.
It's fake. Like I said earlier, you can make some real money because you can earn some cryptos off of that, like Ethereum. Since Ethereum is a real crypto, you get paid in it. Go to an exchange, cash it out, and put it right on your card too.
I'm gonna say it again. It's fake, and the reason I keep saying it, look, real estate ain't going nowhere. The earth ain't going nowhere until it explodes. Real estate is tied with us. We go, real estate goes. Virtual reality ain't tied with us. Virtual reality can drop. You want to know why?
Why?
Because look, these companies it's like data centers. What if a company falls under that virtual reality platform? Gone.
All right. All right, but
Hacked.
like if
Don't forget the hackers.
oh yeah, don't forget the hackers, all right. But there's multiple virtual realities platforms too that you can own some real estate in that are already named, but there's even more than that than what I named also. So yeah, it's limitless. And then you can you can make passive income off it because they're still NFTs too, so you can stake off them. So yeah, you can earn passive income. You don't have to worry about like knowing this and knowing who, you don't have to worry about knowing these electricians, knowing who's going to paint the house and all that. The programmers can already make your place for you, and then all you have to do is just do what you do, like Atari, like have people play these slot machines. Don't even have to get them fixed. You don't need a sink or a bathroom either. You don't have to worry about all the extra little stuff, so you can make some good money there.
Might be true. Well, these things are scams. Like I said, it's fake hackers. Well, this thing's a scam. There's too many of these virtual worlds I'm hearing about. Which one's a scam and which one's not?
And then again, just like I said in the last one, do your research. Your research is always going to tie into this too. I mean, like both the worlds at that too, whether it's physical or digital. Do your research. Go in with caution that you won't get scammed. And then I know these two platforms ain't scam anyway when I'm talking about Sandbox and Decentraland, because you already know which big companies are in there. They going down too if it's a scam. They ain't went down yet. You got a business trying to make a comeback there. There you go. They went into a video game in the metaverse out of all places.
Did they? Did they?
Oh yeah, then they gonna make a virtual reality game system, and you already know which company doing that. So it's a good,
Atari.
yeah, it's a good way to promote your business too. Like what Green Zone doing that I mentioned earlier, using NFTs, like setting them in these places that they already did business in. Now they owning them in virtual reality. So then when you look up these places, you'll see some Green Zone stuff. So you could be innovative with it too, because it's not just virtual reality; it's augmented reality too. Like people gonna need to use one or the other.
Hey, look, that might be true. I'm gonna say it again and give a different perspective. It's fake. As I said before, it's fake. Look, what's the point of virtual reality? Real estate, actual real estate has use. It has some type of use. It's real. You need property. This virtual reality, you need somewhere to sit this platform, sit this company to generate this augmented reality. You're going to need that real estate property. So you still got to deal with us. What use does virtual reality have? For the most part, for right now, yeah, you can earn a little bit of money. But for right now, it's basically a commodity for fun. Real estate, you need somewhere to live. You need medical centers. You need companies. You need stores to buy these things. You need, you need more companies, construction workers, houses, stores. Like, Starbucks. You love your Starbucks. You need real estate property for that. You want to build that somewhere. You need real estate. You need us. You need the actual physical real estate.
Gotcha. Now, so I understand all that, but then what if another pandemic happens? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, COVID. Well, people ain't going nowhere, and then and then a lot of people sure wasn't paying no rent too. That is about to get evicted.
So they had the money to pay that virtual lady.
Yeah, they had that money to pay that virtual. Because you get paid regardless of virtual. Ain't nobody getting sick in no virtual world.
That's a good point.
but yeah, that's our thing right there. We just talk about the pros and cons. The reason for that back and forth. Just in case y'all had all this in y'all minds, we're just bringing it out in this, in this little friendly debate right there.
They still some young bucks. I ain't done.
Look how much money we generating.
Y'all still some young bucks. We don't know where y'all going. Y'all gonna trip, fall, stumble. Y'all gonna stay down. We still up. Look, real estate been around since the beginning of the earth. Somebody had to own some type of property. Old times, you wanted to build your hut somewhere, you needed some property. It may not be the same as now, but you needed some land ownership. Our tribe owned this land.
Yeah, and
It's
then
been
watch
going
that
back since
land.
thousands of years. Like I said, these young bucks out here,
And watch these OGs start flooding or have some earthquakes, tornadoes that knock everything down.
the virtual land going to.
Ain't no tornadoes in the virtual land unless the programmers made it that way. Like in
You ain't
Sims
gonna be on that
disaster.
program. You're gonna be dead.
Y'all be dead in real life. I'm gonna continue my legacy. In VR.
If a tornado come around, knock down the power, that virtual land going.
Virtual land. Yeah, until the power come back on. Like, oh no, better yet, you can take your laptop somewhere else that got power and start off from what you was doing.
Hey, look, they got to rebuild the actual world first before they start worrying about the virtual.
Yeah, that's true. We need the actual world, but virtual does make things easier too. Oh yeah, did I tell you that we're going to be tokenizing land? like you don't even need to own the whole or anything now. You can just buy pieces of it. So I might be able to buy pieces.
Rates. Well,
yeah,
pieces of company. Let me put it that way.
I mean, yeah, you can do it with rates too, but at the same time, they got coins literally designed for real estate at that too. Like I can just buy the coins, and when that platform and real estate go up, I can just appreciate right there too. Like one of them property coins, the coin with the house on it. And then they're talking about giving out blockchain certifications, or or courses to like people who are in real estate too. And blockchain, that sounds familiar right there, right? Because those contracts might be in blockchain too. So there's no fraud.
Speaking of fraud, look here, man. Look here. What? I forget. Can you tell me so much? Which one of them was the decentralized land?
Are you talking about smart lands? Well, they changed their name to Defender, or are you talking about Decentraland, or are you talking about Sandbox, or are you talking about Super World? I'm just naming
one.
They
decentralized. They all decentralized to me. Hey, look. There's no authority in this. I know that sounds great, but let me put it to you this way. At least with real estate, you have actual paper and government knows you own this land. Like, this land is yours. You have rights to it. Who's the authority within a decentralized land where there's no authority? So who's to say you actually own this piece of land? What's stopping me from just taking it?
But that's the thing though. Like with decentralization, it cuts out the middleman, so you don't have to worry about no banks or nothing like that. If you got the place, like in virtual reality. And plus, it's going to show the ownership in these contracts, which is going to be again in the blockchain. So ain't no change to that. Ain't no fraud and nothing. It's more secure. So nobody can really take it away.
That's only virtual ownership though. Well, why haven't you? Like, I know you could probably somehow put it into your wallet, like the virtual contract.
Yep.
But who's to say you don't lose it like you do your cryptos in a normal wallet where it's just gone? I lose it. I can still go and get a copy reprinted or something. I just got to go through a couple procedures. You, virtual, once it's gone, it's gone.
Oh, well, yeah. Once it's gone. Buy some more virtual land.
I don't need to buy more virtual land. I go back. Hey, I need a copy reprinted of. I can go do that.
Man. So, man, you better have all those cryptos that you already earned off the stake and buy something new. Or you better report it or something. But yeah, once it's gone in virtual reality. But once your physical property is destroyed, how long is it going to take to build that back?
It don't matter. I get reimbursed. I got insurance.
So I'm gonna sue the platform then. Like, you're like this hacker take my stuff.
Decentralized, no authority. Yeah, good luck with that.
Where you gonna live when your place gets blown down? Or get set on fire. You got to worry about fires too.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. In the virtual world, you don't got to worry about no fires, no health code violations when building these structures. You don't got to worry about none of that because it's virtual. But you don't got to worry about codes, viruses. Oh, wait, y'all do have viruses. Not the viruses we're thinking of. Y'all got virtual viruses.
Virtual. I mean, we got bugs. I ain't gonna say viruses. Like I have yet to see a virus in the crypto game. Now there are bugs though. You know, I can say that though. Like there are bugs that they got to patch up. But other than that though, the
Bugs
virus
bring
that's probably
diseases.
gonna
We
be.
all know that.
So we don't have to worry about diseases like in the. We don't have to worry about no COVID, just like in the physical world. And then breaking all like bringing all these houses. It's harder to get a house now.
At least I can put my actual body in that house. Virtual, like what I'm gonna do? Just talk to some people, and it's not like a actual augmented reality where I put my consciousness into it. I'm still sitting behind a computer to watch my character walk around.
Are you contagious in virtual reality? We don't have to worry about that 6 feet distance, and then wearing a mask unless you
Yeah, but
want
that's
to
just
wear
my
one.
character. That's just my character. I actually want to be in there.
Yeah.
So
You gonna be character in the game. Yeah.
So that's just my avatar. That's it. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Because you're carefree in there. You don't have to worry about no diseases.
Real estate.
Don't have to worry about no police officers. The only police officers could be as the admin. That's it. So yeah, you can speed all you want in virtual reality. Go past the speed limit.
About bots.
Oh yeah, bots.
And like I said, they just started up limited data. We still don't know where they're going yet. How they gonna figure all this out and where it's gonna be? They still got a long way to go. We still solidify.
Oh yeah, it's new, but it's generating that money quick. I mean, they already, it ain't even been out that long. They already projecting it at trillions of dollars, and then all these celebrities going in there. Of course, there's a lot of money making in there. Like virtual real estate
Celebrities.
is there.
We're normal people.
A lot of normal people in there too. I say it for myself.
Man, who wants to deal with all this technology? All this and that. It was a big hassle just trying to get a couple cryptos. Now, what's the hassle trying to get some virtual property?
And then that's the thing too. Cryptos are getting easier and easier to get. Now, I'm not talking about all the early cryptos, because cryptos come out, like new cryptos come out every day. But I'm talking about like the more known cryptos, like making all these payments for Ethereum. Yeah, that I like. You got exchanges like Coinbase where you can just get your Ethereum off of with your card now, and then they have layer 2 solutions where it's easier to use Ethereum in these games without suffering from these gas fees so much too. So they are making it like more simpler when it comes to payments. But yeah, you still got to learn about cryptos, learn what you're doing regardless of.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta learn. But I guess enough of that. I won't bash it too much. Just having fun.
He was like, oh no, I ain't finished yet. Oh man, we ended up going in circles just a little bit, but we got to the point though.
Yeah, and like last time we had this battle, we're just doing it to show y'all the pros and cons. We ain't trying to hide anything or any I guess suspicions you might have had about it, the bad things about it. There's all good in each area. Even though I might bash virtual reality, like he said, like Money said, you don't have to worry about government or no authority. It's not too many rules, so you kind of do what you want, and that's kind of a beauty within itself. One, there's a lot of things. Look, compared to the virtual reality, real estate is limited. Yes, we have a planet. We live on Earth. There's plenty of land around, but some land is inhabitable, or we just can't do construction on it. Or it's just kind of like out of reach. Like, yeah, you have land, but some are over mountains and things like that. I know some people still build houses, constructions, and towns around that, but some things just, I wouldn't say feasible. There's no point in doing it. Whereas the virtual reality, you don't have to worry about geography. I don't have to worry about a mountain range or a swampy area or animals being around that I could potentially endanger in the future. I don't have to worry about those things. It's the virtual world. I do what I want. If I have endless space, it's limitless. It is literally limitless. It's the virtual world. In reality, we are limited, and the virtual world is limitless. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, shoot, we can probably create entire galaxies.
Yeah, own something in the whole fictional world. Basically, it's when your imaginations, come to life, like in the metaverse, pretty much.
Exactly. So the only limit to the metaverse is your imagination.
Yeah, and then like you said, you don't really. I mean, people's blowing all this money in it already, but you don't really need it. It's still more. It's two things. Like it's more for entertainment, which is why it's in video games, and then also it's just another way to make money. So so that's what it is. So if you stuck in your house for some reason, that, and then you can't like do, and it just makes it hard for you to do real estate in the physical world, like COVID we just talked about. At least you can do it on the computer though, because you don't have to worry about getting sick.
That's true. And remember, I was talking about earlier dealing with tenants and all that. This is a virtual reality. I don't really have to deal with tenants as long as within the contract the person pays the money. That's all good. I don't have to worry about maintenance. The only maintenance I have to worry about is data or maybe storage space or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you don't have to worry about no mold or nothing, but you do have to
yeah,
worry about but you do have to worry about hackers, because once your stuff is taken, it's gone, which is why you have to still be responsible at the end of the day. I mean, think about your own house. You have a security system in there for a reason,
yeah,
because you're doing your
keys
part in
getting in.
keeping your house safe. You got to do the same thing with your properties. Stop giving away your private keys.
Yeah, you don't give away your PIN to your debit card or anything like that. So don't do it with your private keys. It's essentially the same thing. There's a difference where one is real and one is virtual, but they're essentially the same thing. It still deals with property. It's just there's some nuances.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, both of them, like I said, got their cons, but that don't mean, you know, you shouldn't be interested enough to, at least learn about it, instead of just hear about it. Like learn there's a reason why like people are going crazy in these markets. Why you see like a lot of real estate people, in real life, and then why you see this boom that's going crazy, within crypto itself, but also like within the metaverse, because of all this stuff we just talked about. There's more to it. Like now you see there's more to NFTs than just pictures. They can actually become property, but in a virtual world.
Exactly. And just earlier you was talking about tokenized. Well, they're trying to tokenize actual property, and you still see how they go hand in hand. You have to have the actual property to tokenize it. So actual real estate ain't going nowhere. They're still coming together, just like how we said earlier in episodes. The crypto market and the stock market eventually probably will come together, or at least have some type of actual connection together with each other. So the same will apply to the virtual and actual real estate. They're not going to be two separate. There's really no differences to it. Eventually, they're going to come together in some type of shape or form.
Yeah, that's true. And then that's a part of this whole thing. Even though we do something different other than real estate, we can still I mean different from real estate, we can still dive into it in our own way, in different ways. There's like we talked about what, like three or four different ways we can do it. And then I just talked about like a coin, like it's based on this whole network that's gonna be in real estate, that they have the coin. And then when that network is popular, then you can then that coin will appreciate too. That's another one right there, just buying the coin or just
Yeah,
buying the Decentraland mana. If they get more popular in virtual real estate, the coin goes up. people are trying to get paid in that. So, you can just get the coin too.
Exactly. And then with actual real estate, even though I might not like dealing with actual real estate because of all the points I made about how much is a hassle, there's still money to be made in that. It's what are you willing to do? Because actual real estate, you can generate a lot of profit from it, from being like basically kind of like a landlord. We'll just say that you get good cash flow, you generate regular cash flow from you know tenants paying rent. You create another stream of income. The actual property you own appreciates over time. I might bash it a lot, but it's nothing really bad. It's literally what you're willing to do. It's pros and cons to everything. It's what you're comfortable with. I'm not too comfortable with actually being a real estate owner, but I see the interest in it from a lot of people. I see where the interest comes from. You get tax deductions, and there's other benefits. And then you get direct control over your property, actual control of your physical property, as well as using the virtual land. You have direct virtual control over your land. Do what you want. Again, this is why I go back. They're essentially the same thing. There's just slight differences.
Yeah, it's just different ways. At the end of the day, it's just different ways of making money, and that's what we talk about. Just making money. As
And
part of this podcast.
we just want to
Yep.
introduce you to different streams of income, whether that be stocks, cryptos, the virtual land, actual real estate, being a wholesale real estate, being a wholesale realtor, or being an actual real estate agent, creating a small business, or doing some type of small business on like even Instagram or Facebook. We're just trying to help you create a different stream of income, dividends, staking on cryptos. And there's plenty of more ways than what we've mentioned.
Yeah, and then yeah, just keep an open mind. Basically, like learn. It doesn't hurt to learn like different things, even though you don't have to do every single different thing. It does help to actually like read about it.
Yeah. And talk to people. And this kind of goes to kind of like how the reason why we made the podcast was talk about stocks and cryptos and create like, a path, not create a path for you, but kind of like open the door to you and show you. We're trying to let you get a peek into the house of how it really is. This is what we want you to do. We're just trying to show you a way. And we want you to build connections as well. This goes back into like what this show was about, talking about stocks, cryptos, path to income, and we also talk about a little bit of philosophy in life. When we was talking earlier about building connections, it doesn't necessarily even have to be with a contractor. Talk to people, have a good conversation. Sometimes when you talk to just, kind of anybody, you'd be surprised what actually people know. You wouldn't think they know certain things. Like, how do you know this? People have different perspectives and people have different interests, and people have had different walks of life than you. They've done different things, traveled a different path, or they heard things or done things. You will be generally surprised what people actually know. Random people, normal people that seem like they're just a normal person. They're nothing really stands out about them, but knowledge is given to everybody. You will be extremely surprised what knowledge people hold. Just from small conversations I've had with people, I've learned a lot sometimes than what I've learned from searching on the internet. Because how do you search something you never even knew existed? Build
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And then yeah, knowing people, can help you with that too, because people have a different way of thinking. You know, and your conversation with them can end up like leading you to search for something that you never would have thought of searching.
exactly. Like I said, they don't have to be a realtor, a contractor, a doctor. It can literally be no. It can be people at your job you never really talk too much. Not that you didn't like the person at your job. You don't feel comfortable with them. It's just that you never really spoke to them that much. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to strike up a conversation with people. People like to talk. Some people like to talk about their interests or just other things. Once you get them in a comfortable state, they'll start talking and they start leaking information. And sometimes the information may not be relevant to you right then and there, but it's genuine knowledge that you know will help out in the future at some point in time. Or like Money said, it'll give you a slightly different perspective. It'll give you an angle on something. Like, I didn't know this company or such and such does things in such a way. Maybe I can apply that here. Maybe I can do this. Talk to people, build connections. And I think that's basically kind of it for me. That's all I kind of got to say.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, keep an open mind. Don't be afraid to, get out your comfort zone. Talk to people that's doing different things. Especially when it comes to investing. Learn new things. Always proceed with caution, and then sometimes it doesn't hurt like to realize some things ain't for you. Like, you're interested in real estate, but you don't want to have to go through all that hassle of fixing things. Own it. Try to flip the actual house. Like you can go into it through other ways, like selling the contracts, or just owning micro shares or
Or
something like
going
that.
to virtual land.
Yeah, or going to a whole new virtual land. But yeah, like I said, it's just different ways of making that money, and then that's what we love to talk about, making money. That doesn't mean we're rich, but we just love to talk about money.
And still, this is not financial advice. We just
Yes.
giving a little bit of insight to certain things. We just talking about things for entertainment.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes only. Just use this as a guideline. Yeah, that wraps up episode 6. Reality versus virtual reality. See y'all next time in episode 7.
All right, see y'all next time. Enjoy.